little different. We're going to do a reaction video, right? And we're going to do a reaction video to a live stream of Kevin Samuels that came out a couple of days ago. I believe this was Friday. And it was basically titled, I'll submit to you if you're worth it, right? That was the name just to start off talking about. And he was basically talking about how a lot of modern women have this idea that submission, first off, we have a negative idea of submission. We look at submission as being...
talk about this even in church.
Yeah, we look at submission as being, a slave, as being a doormat, as being, you know what I mean? No voice, being weak, and we don't want to submit. And if the modern woman submits, it's only if he is worth it. Okay, and KS talks about, him agreeing that women need to submit to every man.
Right.
A lot of women, I think that's the part when he makes sense. He talks about women dating just the right type of man, not submitting or giving it up to all types of bums because they're out there. Okay, so he talks in terms of submission. I only submit to him if he's worth it. And as a woman, you think of that, and it sounds, that's reality. Like, I ain't submitting. He gotta be worth it. I ain't submitting. He gotta be this and that. He gotta show me this. He gotta show me that. He gotta be this. He gotta be that before I'm willing to submit. Cool. Okay, I understand where they're coming from. But he turns around and says that a lot of men, they're not really, in terms of what they want from a woman, they want women to have a certain type of attitude, right? You need to be like C.I.A.R.A. Okay? This is based on what KS says. C.I.A.R.A, the acronym, and actually the woman married to Russell Wilson. You need to be C.I.A.R.A, you need to be caring. Alright? You need to show interest. You need to be affectionate, loving. That also goes under vulnerability, which I would knock is a big issue for a lot of women, especially modern women. You need to be vulnerable, because that's when you're in your feminine. You need to be reliable, trustworthy, someone that they can depend on. And last but not least, attitude. You need to have a pleasant attitude, okay? Pleasant, a really good attitude.
Very important.
All right, so he goes into that, talking about, happens in the monologue, where people start calling in, women start talking or whatever. Why a lot of women are struggling with being, caring, or being C.I.A.R.A, is upbringing. That was a fact a lot of women brought up, upbringing. Yeah, how to be loving and nurturing and kind, caring and show interest. A lot of us told, don't be too interested. Play hard to get. Oh, don't do this. Don't do that. Make them chase you. Oh, don't do this. Don't be too vulnerable. Put up a wall. And I've had a personal experience of putting up that wall can throw a lot of men off. It's only a few certain men are going to sit there and wait for you to put that wall down.
Who are you going to be fighting for?
Yeah, it's like that wall definitely could affect the progression of a relationship. And that's real. I'm not going to sit here and lie. That's real talk. It's very, very true. Being reliable, trustworthy, doing what you say you're going to do, that's the part. But most importantly, what a lot of people came up was the attitude part. The attitude. And I feel like sometimes when it comes to attitude, I feel like a lot of women, modern women, whatever you want to say, I don't think it's something that's intentional.
Right.
I think it's a lot of women.
It's like a protective mechanism.
Thank you. It's a wall. When you have so many bad experiences, you dated so many dusties, you messed with so many guys who have not given you what you thought you needed, wanted, and desired. You become frustrated. You take out that frustration and bitterness on the everyday guy. Right. So when you go out and you're frowning, and you look disinterested, you don't realize it, because once you see these guys, you're like, barrier up, wall up, don't look interested, look annoyed, look frustrated, they won't talk to you, and it's like you almost put this shield up. It's a defense mechanism, and it definitely affects attitude. It definitely comes out in your attitude. And attitude is listening to me like, body language is your attitude. You know what I mean? It's not always, I cursed you out. I said this.
And that's what I mean. That's the thing about me is that I'm always so grateful about myself. I can't admit my flaws. I know the things I need to work on. But the issue is that it's a two-way lane, right? Everyone needs to know what they need to work on. We're not going to make it seem like it's only women that have the problem. You know what I mean? It's a two-way lane. Like, some women are acting like that because they're not getting treated the way she should be treated. Right? If you show her that love, affection, care, you don't cheat on her, take care, do what you need to do, then maybe she will open up. Maybe that wall will go down. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that you should wait years and years trying to be, put her wall down. No, of course she has to be reasonable as well. But I feel like the whole attitude thing, having a smart mouth, things like it's something I can kind of relate with, and I know I've been working on, because it's just like, I just be so tired of the BS, so tired of the rubbish, and sometimes I'm just like, don't come to me if you're going to come to me incorrect, right? But then you don't know how many people that you're blocking because you don't know how many people that are never going to come to you at all, right? Because you're already given that negative energy, that negative vibe, or whatever you try to. And sometimes you try to be nice, and the wrong people are coming to you.
But then this is the argument that this is what I can play devil's advocate is that a lot of women are so frustrated, but they've given the wrong type of guys chances.
Yeah.
So now you're bitter and you're
not always the wrong though. Why do you have this perception is always the wrong?
You've given guys who are show. I'm not saying you. I'm not speaking about you. I'm talking about in
general.
general.
Yeah.
A lot of us entertain the wrong type of guys. Then start acting. You're giving these guys that giving you these red flags and not serious.
Right.
It's not like it's someone that he was acting so perfect from day one. He just switched up. Most of these guys that they don't know from the beginning. It's whether you choose to keep entertaining it or not. And then when it doesn't work, you become acting annoying.
All men are this.
All men are this, but it's no. You are dating. I'm saying man or woman. You are dating these type of men.
I said, oh, I don't want to hurt me. Am I a monster? I was crying like, yo, that's crazy. Like, why am I thinking like that?
And that's what he talked about a lot in the streams. A lot of women go out with that idea that men are just so bad, and a lot of women are trained and conditioned by even their mothers to be fearful of men. They're just going to treat you bad.
Wow.
They're going to cheat on you. They're
That's
going to do
real.
this. They're going to do that. You cannot enter a healthy relationship with that type of mindset.
You already set yourself
You
back.
already setting yourself up for failure. Not to say there are a lot of people who are ancient, men and women, a lot of ancient men and women. They're out there. But what I'm saying is that if you use your discernment and you pay attention, you won't even get to that.
What's there.
You won't even get into the point of entertaining those type of people.
Right.
Doesn't mean that it will never. Nothing's 100% guaranteed. There's no advice anyone will give you. Any show, any guru dating man or woman, there's no advice you're going to give you that's 100% foolproof.
Everything is a risk.
Everything is a risk. That's life. But there are calculated risks. There are risks that make more sense. So I think when it comes down to a lot of us women, especially when it comes to modern women, you have this idea that, oh man, I'm just gonna get broken hearted. They're gonna just treat me bad.
Are you C.I.A.R.A?
Am I caring? Show interest? Affectionate? Reliable? And the attitude? Yeah, I believe I am.
Is that this man is presented to that he's serious, that he wants to settle down, he's marriage minded, he doesn't believe in playing games, he's not here to waste your time, you know what I mean? So I think that you will have of course you still have to date him to know all these things and finalize, but I think this leads to the other video that was, why are women of other races?
Why are black women losing high value black men to non-black women?
Thank you. And it's something that, has been in the video for a while, and sometimes people say it was an exaggeration,
Because 86% of black men are married to black women.
Right. However, it always seems like the high value ones. That's the issue. Even
the ball players, the rappers, the executives,
with a brown skinned girl, people be hailing him. LeBron, people hail LeBron.
Even if they're black, they are very what's the word they're looking for? What's the word? They're white passing almost. Like they're not visibly black.
Not hair with natural hair.
Yeah, they're not black, brown skin, black. Their
colorism is definitely there, and I do think it's a part of self-hate in a lot of aspects. Like a lot of black men just aspiring to something they could never have, and now that they can have it, they want it.
White men always have access to black women.
Right. White men always, they were raping their slaves all the time, having kids with their slaves. Right, but literally you hear stories of Emmett Till got killed for whistling at a woman he didn't even whistle at. You get what I'm saying? It was an absolute no for a black man to have a white woman in America. So I feel like that is definitely a part of it, which I don't think a lot of people are bringing up, which I was very shocked at.
Because when a girl had brought up on white privilege, she tried to knock her down like white privilege. What type of? And her defense was just weak. Like she confused herself. Right. But I do think that chattel slavery has a part to do with it.
Yes, definitely.
You can't ignore. I wouldn't say it's a major factor. Because what the other argument with a lot of even black women calling it a non-black woman is the attitude part. The last part of Are You C.I.A.R.A. is the attitude. Even we went out last night, we was in the city and we just see the way, non-black women interact even in social settings. White girls trying to buy us shots. They're just friendly. Their attitude, their positive.
And friendly to our men as well.
They're not going out like this, looking like they don't want to be out.
Every girl's we there on our phone, we frowning.
Yeah, they're not looking antisocial. They go out and they're
ready to have a good time.
They have a good attitude for the most part.
I thought was very interesting. The point was that when you talked about that, there was a Hispanic girl that called in. I guess she was from Peru, talking about growing up. They're not told that men are bad, and that she served her brother. Yeah, it reminded me of like Nigerian culture. Like it's very common. Like men are almost like worshipped. Like men are almost like, especially Igbo culture, very patriarchal. You know what I mean? So literally she grew up feeling like, yeah, this is my brother, I'm supposed to take care of him. I'm supposed to nurture him. I have to feed him. It's part of the culture.
Care for him.
But in American culture, it's not really set up like
Some
that.
women
And not a lot of women don't even have the men around them to cater to. You know what I mean? Like, so when I hear some of these statistics about how many black women are single mothers, sometimes I feel like they're fake. Because it just sounds way too high.
Sounds too high?
Even though I came from a single family home, so you think that I would believe it, but sometimes the numbers just sound way like
because the single family does include women who are widowed, right? Yeah, so you know, I have to consider that as a factor. Divorcees, women who are widowed, women who maybe have been, I don't know if separated we'll call a single parent, but you're still legally married. Yeah, so yeah, I think that's a big part, and we even tie this into this video as well, is that I know a lot of KS's, Kevin Samuels critics, will get onto how he's always talking to women about, you know, being baby mamas and getting pregnant. And I think that, thank you, who are getting these women pregnant. But like we said in a former video, or we talk about it, men and women are not equal, right?
And modern women are mad that life is not fair.
Life is unfair. So you as a woman, you have to understand that there's certain consequences to your actions that men don't have. And that's the truth. You could sit here and argue about it today, tomorrow, it doesn't change your reality. A man can have a child, see his child every 2 weeks, pay child support every month.
This man to see the
every
children
few months. It doesn't really affect them the way it affects a woman. Once you have a child, that's your responsibility for life, at least till the child's 18. So I think that why it may seem harsh, you know, it may seem a little brutal, but I think that the reason why he is so hard on a lot of women, especially the single women who are having children, is because he looks like they're messing up their life. In terms of their dating prospect, and basically the lives that they still want to live. It's like once you have a child, you can't want all these things. Your priority becomes your child, especially as a woman. So it's like,
but a man can still live almost a normal life.
Yes.
And have multiple children.
Yes.
It's really so unfair.
Yeah, that's why as women, we have to be more accountable, and we have to understand that people will make you seem as if you're being uptight when you're worried about certain things, or when you don't want to do certain things, or you may want to be celibate, or you may want to, you're stuck on him getting tested first. You want to make sure that he always has protection on, because when it hits the fan, ladies, it comes down to you. So don't ever let anyone shame you or make you feel guilty for being too protective or being too uptight, because we know our consequences. We know how this is going to affect us, and a lot of men, they will never be able to relate, and that's fine because they don't know what we go through. So, you know, I think that is a factor, I think that is a big factor too when it comes to, you know, women and men in terms of, are women willing to submit, or are you caring, or all these things. There's a lot of things that women go through that a man will never really understand. And you know, it's the vice versa, but ours is the biggest visible difference that we give birth to children. So, you know, there's always more at risk when it comes to us than there is at men. We have there's a lot of life.
You see it, but sometimes you see even a woman, she gives the birth to child, but the man has custody for the children. You know, and you know, that would definitely affect the man's life much differently, because he can't be that every weekend dad. He can't be that once a month dad. He has to be around and be there for kids. Okay, but is that really the norm? No. That's not the norm. We know that's not the norm. Most of the time, a woman has a child, if she's not married, she is with the child, and the father is the one that sees the child when he wants. Or whenever he has custody, or whenever he's available, it's the woman that is left to really care for that child, even financially sometimes. You know, child support is not always paid. You know what I mean? It's not. People are
10
poor
years
all the time
for
child support.
And child support is based on your income. If you're not making that much, your child support is not going to be high. It's going to be based on what you are making. So a lot of times it's still not even substantial. So yeah, it is what it is. But I know we went off a little topic there, but we just wanted to talk about that. This is the two most recent videos, live streams we had talking about those topics. You know, the whole caring part, and are you a C.I.A.R.A, you know, all those attributes, and also about the women. I know there's a lot of non-black women didn't call in. I don't know whether it's because
they don't want to get blasted,
but they felt uncomfortable. But I think it would have been helpful if more of them did call in to really speak. Yeah, because that's the issue in life. We don't talk about things we can't change.
Right.
If you don't, that's why we still have a
huge
race issue.
A white girl came and said, "Yeah, well, they come to us because you women don't take care of your men." Oh my
you guys are overweight.
Right. Something like that. It would have been the end of the what? Everyone would have been going crazy.
But yeah.
But I know some few Hispanic women called in.
They talked about, and I always used to hear about that too, that culturally wise, Hispanic women are very, would the word be submissive? Or they're very, you know, they take care of the man, they're very caring, they're very nurturing, you know, they're very, you know, that's like, they're part of the upbringing. Like we say, people don't want to keep saying excuses, but that's why we would say upbringing is so important. Like there's certain things that if you can always learn, but it's easier to learn something when you're young. That's a reality. That's when it's ingrained a language, how to cook, how to do all these things. There's all these baby Jesus. All the people are teaching their children 4 languages at 5 years old. Everything is easier when you're younger. For the most part, you learn quicker, and it just becomes ingrained in you. So that's just the reality of it. We as a community, we as people, we need to be more accountable, and also to men and women. It's not a gender thing. As human beings, and we have to realize how much upbringing impacts us. Whether you like, is that an excuse? There's no excuses in life. You know, life happens, everyone has problems. There's no one you're gonna meet that's not going through something. Everyone has problems, big or small, no matter how insignificant they may be to you, everyone has issues. But we cannot negate the value of upbringing. It is very important. It is something when I listen to a lot of live streams, a lot of people will bring up upbringing, even men, upbringing.
Like the girl that called in, she said that she came from a family of like 8 women, all of them never been married, all have children.
You expect that woman to care about marriage?
Right.
And to understand that she needs to be married before she has a child, to increase her likelihood of success in life? How do you expect her to know that when she didn't grow up seeing that?
Right.
That wasn't something that was set as a standard for her. I said even us will end on this. Listening into a lot of Kevin Samuel's content is that a lot of stuff he says to me, like I said, I don't agree with 100% Kevin Samuel says. We have videos coming up, like I'm not someone who's gonna sit here and say everything says is right, because that's not true. Let's call a spade a spade. But I'm saying a lot of the things, the common sense things he says to me are very common sense and very basic. But when you hear people calling in, that's not common sense for them.
That's not what they've been around.
That's just not how they've been around. Like I know some commenters have brought in, the cultural component of it, and that may be a part of it. We can't ignore that. But a lot of, or maybe I think more of anything is generational. We came from a generation where things between the baby boomers and things have changed so much. A lot has been lost. 50 years ago, you didn't meet a lot of women having kids and not being married. That was, like they say, you were a pariah. You were an outcast. There's very few of you. But now it's almost like, it's a common thing. You know what I mean? So things have changed a lot during the time. Our generation, we are a different generation now. That's what we have to realize we're not people. We didn't grow up in the 70s and the 60s. We didn't grow up in the 50s. We didn't grow up even in the 80s.
Some of us.
So we're just trying to figure out all the mistakes that we made and trying to fix it so our next generation doesn't make it.
And we have to be reasonable. We can't expect to live how people lived in the 1940s either. Now when we talk about this as a traditional thing, it can work, but is it most likely to work in the Western world in 2021? No. For most people, the setup is just not realistic. Things are too expensive, life is too expensive. You know what I mean? To rely on one person's salary. How much are people making? It's a luxury. It is a luxury to live to rely on one person's salary. And be comfortable, not you wear, not that you I can't do my hair. I can't go to the
not that you're struggling, looking crazy, looking hit. No, do it and you're okay. Not to say you're living well, but you're decent.
Right, you're comfortable.
But let us know how you feel about these topics. You want to ramble? How do you feel about the acronym? This whole idea of women not wanting to submit unless the guy is worth it. How do you guys feel about that? And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this channel with everyone you know. And we'll see you in our next video. Bye.